Hello, welcome back to another video lesson in astrology. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about Mars in the 6th house. To use this information, you require two charts. The first one is, of course, the basic chart, the Rasi chart, and the next one is the Bhava chart. From the Rasi chart, you get to know whether Mars is in its own sign or exalted, deep exaltation, which is Capricorn 28 degrees, or deep debilitation, which is 28 degrees Cancer. Whether Mars is in its Mula Trikona, which is the first 12 degrees of Aries. Whether Mars occupies the sign of its friends, and the friends of Mars are the Moon, Jupiter, and the Sun. And whether Mars occupies the sign of its enemy, Mercury. There are two signs for Mercury, and that is Mars in Gemini or Mars in Virgo. Mars is not comfortable being in these two signs because Mars is the red planet and it hates to be in the green. And the green signs are Gemini and Virgo. Also, if you want to know whether Mars is with malefics like Rahu or Ketu or Saturn, all this is to be known only from the Rasi chart. Even aspects, conjunctions, everything is to be known only from the Rasi chart. Then what is the Bhava chart or the Chalit chart to be used for? The Bhava chart or the Chalit chart is just used to know which house Mars is in. That's it. Beyond that, there is no other use of the Bhava chart. I hope I have made this very clear, and so let's move on to the green board. There are 12 possibilities for Mars to be in the 6th house. Why do I have to spend so much time on this? The reason is, I just want to place before the viewers the fact that Mars in the 6th house will not give the same results. Let's assume that you have Mars in the 6th house. And let's assume that you have a friend who has Mars in the 6th house, just like you. But the effect of Mars in the 6th house will not be the same for both of you because Mars may not be in the same sign as it is for you. For example, Mars in your case might be exalted, and for your friend, Mars might be debilitated, being in the 6th house, and that's possible because he and you are not born in the same ascendant. That's the reason why I take you through all the 12 possibilities, so that you will understand that there is a lot more to astrology. And you should also know what the 6th house means. The 6th house is the house of disease, deaths, and enemies. And so you expect Sage Bhrigu to talk something about enemies or disease. He has not mentioned anything about deaths in this case. So Mars in the 6th house is not likely to cause deaths. But even in this case, he says if a benefic like Jupiter, like this, let's say Jupiter is the 12th house, and so he looks straight at Mars. So Sage Bhrigu says if this is the case, the person will recover from the skin disease. And another strange thing about Mars being in the 6th house is if Mars is associated with or aspected by a malefic, the above results, or whatever has been stated earlier, will be realized in their entirety. But then he adds the person may suffer from rheumatism, for which he uses the word Vata Shula Dirogaha. Shula is basically sudden pain. Out of the 12 possibilities, the first possibility is given here. Aries Ascendant, Mesha Lagna, and Mars is in the 6th house, and Mars occupies the sign of Mercury. And this is not a good combination. And Sage Bhrigu has specifically said something about this, which I will tell you during the third part of this video. And he also says that if a benefic aspects this combination, he will recover from this disease. This is Vrishaba Lagna, Taurus Ascendant, and Mars in the 6th house. This Mars is definitely better off because it is in the sign of Venus, or at least it is not in the sign of Mercury. So you should expect more of the positive side of Mars being in the 6th house to manifest in your life. This is Mithuna Lagna, Gemini Ascendant, and Mars in the 6th house. Is in its own sign. Whenever planets are placed in the own sign, it is always in a very good mood. It tends to give the positive side of the planet being in that particular house. And not only that, Mars here gives rise to a Viparita Raj Yoga called the Harsha Yoga, which is also a special yoga for victory in competition. And Mars has a lot to do with fight and desire to fight, because Mars is the energy planet, and desires are energy based. If you don't have energy, then there's no desire. For example, when you're sick, you're low on energy, you don't have any desire except to survive. So this Mars in the 6th house is definitely a big advantage for all those who are in some kind of competition, sports, elections, and wherever there is a fight involved. There's a lot of fight involved in this. There are the enemies before the person, but eventually the person finally be victorious. This is a very good combination. This is Karkataka Lagna and Cancer Ascendant, and Mars in the 6th house happens to be also in the sign of Jupiter. And Jupiter and Mars, they get along well, and the good side of Mars will manifest in your life because Mars is happy to be in this place. This is Simha Lagna, Leo Ascendant, and Mars in the 6th house is exalted. Any graha that is exalted is in a very good mood. So therefore, more of the positive side of Mars is likely to manifest in your life. Whenever a planet is exalted and it gives rise to some kind of positive results, then it means that the results will come to you quite easily. If a planet is debilitated, even though the result may come based on the combination, the result is likely to come only after trials and tribulations. So this Mars exalted is really good. This is Kanya Lagna, Virgo Ascendant, and Mars in the 6th house. Because Sage Bhrigu says that a malefic connection with Mars is very good for Mars being in the 6th house, we should expect good things to happen if a person has this kind of Mars. But this person is likely to suffer from rheumatism and what is called shooting pains, as though somebody is piercing the person, somebody is hurting with a weapon or a tool. Suddenly there will be a pain. This is possible if Mars is in the 6th house in this particular way. This is Thula Lagna, Libra Ascendant, and Mars is in the sign of Jupiter. And because it is in the sign of its friend and also a natural benefic, you should expect more of the positive side of this Mars manifesting in your life. This is Vrishika Lagna, Scorpio Ascendant, and Mars is very happy to be in the 6th house because Mars is in its own sign and gives rise to a Viparita Raj Yoga, Harsha Yoga, which is very good for victory over enemies. Even without this yoga, Mars in the 6th is expected to give you this kind of victory over enemies anyway. So this is a double bonanza. This is Sagittarius Ascendant, Dhanus Lagna, and Mars in the 6th house is in the sign of Venus. So more of the good side of Mars being in the 6th is likely to manifest in your life because Mars is in the sign of a natural benefic. And this person is not likely to suffer from any skin disease or the pain that Sage Bhrigu expects whenever Mars is in the 6th house. This is Capricorn Ascendant, Makara Lagna, and Mars is in the 6th, but this Mars is not good because it occupies the sign of Mercury, and this is likely to cause serious skin diseases, and there is also the possibilities of leprosy-like problems on the skin. But Sage Bhrigu says that if Jupiter aspects this Mars this way, or in this way, or this way, then Sage Bhrigu says the person will recover from this disease. This is Kumbha Lagna, Aquarius Ascendant, and Mars is in the 6th house. Mars is debilitated, and therefore you should expect some of the negative sides of Mars being in the 6th house to manifest more in the person's life. Not only that, of whatever positive that Sage Bhrigu has spoken about of Mars being in the 6th house, all that would be much reduced because Mars is debilitated. Irrespective of all this, there are some special advantage of Mars being in the 6th. Sage Bhrigu promises some good effects. I'll be talking about all this in the third part of this video. This is the last of the 12 possibilities. Meena Lagna, Pisces Ascendant, and Mars is in the sign of his friend, the Sun. Here you can say that Sun is also a natural malefic. Sage Bhrigu hints that this person will have most of the plus points of Mars being in the 6th house, especially related to victory over enemies and competitors. Sage Bhrigu starts off on a good note by saying Mars in the 6th house makes a person prasiddhi. The native will be famous. Karya samartha, will be successful in his undertakings. Shatruhanta, defeat his enemies, the slayer of enemies. Putravan, will be blessed with children. Sapta vimshati varshe, Kanya kashvadi yutha udvan. Sapta is 7 and Vimsha is 20. So that is 27th year. Dr. G S Kapoor translates this as the person will be blessed with children, will have marriage and acquire conveyances, like in those days horses or chariot, in his 27th year, and he will also be victorious over his enemies when he is 27-year-old. Sometimes in Bhrigu Sutra we do find some statements like this which does not have any reference to Vimshotri Dasha or any Dasha system, irrespective of planetary periods, irrespective of any transit. A planet is capable of giving certain kinds of results. These kind of rules are available in plenty in Bhrigu Sutra. Shatru Shayah, defeating his enemies, vanquish his enemies, destroy his enemies. Now he starts, the conditions apply. Papa Kshe, Papa Yute, Papa Drishte. Papa means a natural malefics. So, Purna Falani. Purna is full. So the fruits of Mars in the 6th will be realized entirely or fully. So Dr. G S Kapoor says if Mars is associated with or aspected by a malefic, the above results will be realized in their entirety. But the native will suffer from rheumatism, pains, etc. And that's because Sage Bhrigu says Vata Shuladi Rogaha under the conditions apply. Another condition he says is if Mars is in the sign of Mercury, Buddha Kshetre Yute, if he is in the sign of Mercury or with Mercury, Kushta Rogaha, the native will suffer from leprosy. In my experience, I also found different kinds of skin diseases. Usually some kind of hardening of the skin has been noticed. Sage Bhrigu says, Shubha Drishte Pariharaha. Don't worry, if a Shubha Graha is connected to this Mars, then the person will recover from this disease. We have come to the end of this video. In case you have any doubts, please type them out in the comment section. And whenever I find the time, I'll answer them for you. And see you soon in my next video.